All right, we're recording.
Okay, we're recording. Let's go. Spoiler alert.
We do this just so that we can use this.
Just really just fade in on us talking about whatever.
If we need buffers, there's fully. I'm gonna cut this out anyway, but I'm gonna there's fully a recording on there when I was testing out the mics earlier, where it's just me going.
And this is what we're gonna fade in on to after the intro.
I sat down here talking to myself because I could hear myself in the headphones for a good hour.
That's what I do on video calls. I just wind up looking really deep into the camera because it's like, when's another time when you're gonna get to do that?
Yeah, and it's more fun than just sitting and actually because it's
like doing a proper test.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I get that.
Yeah, I sat down here and I was just talking to myself for a good hour, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be perfect, and then I had all my banter prepared.
And isn't it perfect? Isn't this everything you wished for and more?
You know what? It is really fun, actually.
It's exactly what I was hoping it would be.
I feel like there's not much you can expect from the podcast, but there's so much that you can expect that just wouldn't work.
Yeah.
I don't know why it wouldn't work.
But it wouldn't work. I know what you're saying, yeah.
Yeah. But no, I think it really does work, and I think that's another half the reason why I was like, "Oh, this would be such a good podcast."
And weirdly, I think it is working.
Yeah, I feel like you do all these podcasts with people who talk all the time, but they have nothing to talk about, or they're talking about something that they already have. Yeah, and it's something that's whatever. But then we barely talk.
Yeah. So half of this podcast is just actually two people talking.
Yeah.
I would call us friends.
Yeah, we are friends.
Yeah, I get muddy on the definition of friends. It's a very stressful thing for me. But we're friends who barely speak to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I'm okay with that dynamic.
And you know what? We decided
now we've got a podcast.
Now we've got a podcast. So
this episode's going to be about movies.
Crazily enough.
Film. That's a pretty niche topic.
This is something that I don't talk about a lot. But I'm really interested in film, but I don't know enough about it. Because I just don't have the capacity to learn about it.
What part of film?
Just all of it. Genuinely, I want to go to film school.
And you want to make movies and stuff? Yeah. That's interesting, yeah.
But barely anyone would know that, and it's something that I can't back up with being oh yeah, I've seen all these movies, I've done all these things, I can say all this stuff about movies, because I can't. And that's another reason, because it's just something I'm interested in, and I want to learn how to do that sort of thing.
I mean, that's also what film school can be for, though.
Exactly.
People think you already have to be a film buff who watches A24 or whatever to go to film school. But no, honestly, that's what post-secondary is for, learning about things.
That's true. That's true.
If every person already knew what there was to know about being a doctor, we wouldn't have med school.
I guess, yeah, that's fair. That's just people who are interested in
doctoring.
Doctor.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, film's an interesting topic, I would say. It's kind of why we chose it.
Yeah, and I feel like both of us have
some level of interest / experience in it. Yeah. I love just watching movies and having opinions on them. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I just thought about film production for a second. I have a good YouTube channel to recommend to you, and it's not technically about film production, but it's also super about film production. Mm-hmm. Are you a horror buff at all?
Not
Are you okay with consuming horror?
I love watching horror movies. Okay.
So I have deep respect for the genre horror and what it can do for storytelling. I'm too much of a chicken to actually watch the films. Oh. So I watch Dead Meat. Okay. I watch there's a series called The Kill Count.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, The Kill Count. It's fantastic. Also, if you want to learn about the production of films.
Oh, okay.
Because it's half summarizing the movie and talking about the cool ways people die, but the other half is talking about a lot of the behind-the-scenes stuff, a lot of how it worked. And then they also do a series on a different channel called Production Tales from Hell, where they talk about really bad production times on movies.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, that's really cool.
That's where a lot of my knowledge about filmmaking comes from.
Yeah, I like watching all, the YouTube commentaries about film. Touching on what you said about, how you're scared to watch them. Yeah. I love watching them, but I have to read, the Wikipedia plot.
You have to know everything that's going to happen first.
I have to know everything that's going to happen. But I love watching them just because they're fun to watch, and it's fun to sit in the suspense, even if you know what's going to happen.
And horror is a genre as a storytelling medium that can do so many important and impactful things. Right. There's horror movies now that are telling really important stories about trauma and abuse and grief and stuff, and there's
a lot of symbolism.
Yeah, and you couldn't sort of stuff. And in a lot of ways you can't capture the emotional turmoil that puts someone through without almost using horror as a medium.
Right.
because it's like a way to jostle the audience emotionally. And then there's also schlock horror, which seems really interesting. Mm-hmm. Think of Army of Darkness.
I've never heard of it.
It's the third movie in the Evil Dead trilogy.
Okay.
And it's actually mostly a fantasy adventure film.
Oh, interesting.
Have you ever heard the quote, like, "This is my boomstick"?
Yes, I have heard
So that's from Army of Darkness.
Interesting. Okay.
The Evil Dead films are about fighting zombies.
All right.
Basically. I'm not, unsurprising.
Okay.
Evil Dead 1, pretty dark and grim horror film.
Mm-hmm. Careful when you're touching the cords.
Oh, no.
It's gonna make it sound weird. It's already sounding very weird because we keep touching things. Like when I touch the...
Keep my hands off.
Production value of this is dwindling.
They should never expect good. So the Evil Dead 1 is a pretty dark and grim horror film. Mm-hmm. It's not happy at all. And it did a lot of interesting things, but it also got a lot of criticism in a lot of ways. Okay. Evil Dead 2 is a retelling of Evil Dead 1, but it's a horror comedy.
Oh.
And it mainly only stars one guy.
Oh.
Who's Bruce Campbell, who adopted the character Ash.
Okay.
For example, Evil Dead 1 is it's very dark. It's got like the zombies are like manipulating people emotionally and stuff. It's scary, it's creepy. Evil Dead 2, his hand gets possessed, so he cuts it off and replaces it with a chainsaw.
Yum. Okay, fun.
So then the third Evil Dead film is Army of Darkness.
Okay.
Where he and the bad zombies get sent back in time to medieval times. And he has to fight the zombies there. And the movie ends with a big skeleton battle where he fights himself but evil.
Oh.
Yeah.
Fun. When you explain it doesn't sound too horror, but I'm sure it's like...
So the first two are definitely horror.
But then it just kind of...
And the last one is classified as a horror film because of the first two, mostly, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just like... It's pretending to be horror.
Yeah.
It's like by proxy.
Honestly, yeah.
No. Yeah, I like horror. I feel like I don't watch enough of it because I feel like I have to watch it during Halloween time.
I thought you were going to say during broad daylight.
No, I think I watched it, but I watched it, at,
You watched it or watched it in italics?
It.
Okay.
No, I watched the movie about the scary clown.
Yeah.
In darkness. Pure darkness. But I was with my dad, because he also wanted to watch it.
Yeah, I can't.
And then I watched it, too.
Yeah.
While I was on a bus in Scotland, or in Ireland, or somewhere.
Yeah.
While sitting next to someone who really doesn't like scary movies. And I think I got jump scared at one point, and they just looked over at me, and I was like, I'm watching a horror movie, it's okay.
I'm playing Five Nights at Freddy's.
I never got to play Five Nights at Freddy's because I was too scared as a baby child, and now I feel like I can't play it anymore.
I mean, who's stopping you? They're still making games.
That's true. Maybe that's what I'm
Go
gonna
play
do.
Into the Pit.
That's what I'm going to do immediately after you're
We're going to do a Claire's going to do a solo Let's Play of Into the Pit.
Oh my god.
But it's still a podcast, so it's audio only. She's going to describe what's happening on screen.
It's just me screaming the entire time. Because that's the other thing. I play horror games sometimes. I played it's not even a horror game. I played Left 4 Dead.
Yeah.
Which is just
it's kind of horror.
It's just a zombie shooter game. So it's but I play that with a couple of my friends.
Yeah.
Family friends sometimes, and it's just me screaming, and they're all like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm just scared.
I think zombie shooters can also embody horror, though. Because, if you think about it, Left 4 Dead's got horror.
Right.
COD Zombies does not have horror.
No, I haven't played that.
No, COD Zombies is a very... I haven't played it, but from everything I've seen, it's a very goofy game.
Oh.
It's give this big man candy, and he'll break the walls for you. That's actually a thing in one of the maps.
That's really silly. No, yeah, but horror is a fun genre.
Yeah. Anyway, we're gonna go down to favorite movies.
None of my favorite films are horror movies.
Me neither. Do you want to go first?
No, you go.
Okay. So I've got a very concrete list in mind because I have a list of 4 movies that sort of try to they get around to my taste in film.
Okay.
So the first one and my all-time favorite film is The Big Lebowski.
Okay.
I have talked on end about The Big Lebowski. It's a very difficult film to explain, plot-wise. It's by the Coen brothers. It's a comedy. Got some all-star performances from an all-star cast. And the best thing I can say about it is if you're going to watch it, be prepared to watch it twice. Because the first time you watch The Big Lebowski, it's like sitting in a 90-minute long inside joke that you're not on the inside of.
Okay.
But the second time you watch it, you're in on the joke.
All right.
and then it gets a lot more entertaining.
All right.
Because then it feels like the film equivalent of just like messing around with some buds.
Okay.
Yeah, it's so the Coen Brothers are sort of a good way I've just heard a lot of their films described is you sort of have a couple of deeply flawed characters who get just pulled into a whirlwind of like consequence and action.
Okay.
And typically they're like it's caused by their greed.
Right.
And then the entire film sort of exploring that whirlwind of action and consequence.
All right, that's actually really cool.
So yeah, they've done some really interesting comedies, but I talked about it like last episode. No Country for Old Men is also by them, and it's like a really difficult drama that sort of follows that exact same plot structure. So yeah, that's The Big Lebowski. 2 is Ocean's 11. Not the original, but like the George Clooney one. Mm-hmm. That one I love it. Because I do have a soft spot for like those like classic like those summer blockbuster movies.
Right. Yeah.
Especially Ocean's 11. It's like witty. It tells its story really well. It's super stylish. It's got once again all-star performances from all-star actors. Clooney and Pitt are fantastic.
See, whenever we talk about Ocean's 11, I just think of the improv.
Of that long-form improv. That was really mid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I feel like we could have done it better if we had more practice.
I agree. And I still like the idea.
Maybe we explore it more this year.
Or even if we had more time for our scenes.
Yeah.
And if we all watched Ocean's 11 together.
Well, it's also because it's like you need to explore the individual characters more.
Yeah, and we didn't have time for that.
So I feel like if you did that,
it
would be a lot easier.
I think if you did like one whole improv, like a 45 to an hour improv show of just that.
I have a lot of ideas for like long improv like formats.
There's a Discord channel for that.
I know, but like I need to explain.
Put your ideas out there. Get the conversation started.
I forget who I talked to about it, but they were like, oh, "No, that's a bad idea." So anyway, I'll put it in.
Remember,
the Discord.
There's no bad ideas in improv until there are.
Okay, I'll put it in the Discord.
And worst comes to worst, we can workshop it out of podcast.
Perfect.
Anyway, Ocean's 11, fantastic movie. It's like, I think it's the quintessential heist film.
Mm-hmm.
I've also learned recently that's actually a remake.
Really?
The original Ocean's 11 was done as Frank Sinatra in it. He plays Danny Ocean.
Oh.
Yeah, it was done in the 60s. Because there was a group of singers called the Rat Pack who would make movies together.
Interesting.
That was... And I'm going to go watch that one at some point.
Okay.
Yeah, Ocean's 11, fantastic. It's like a super easy summer blockbuster to watch in like the quintessential heist film. 3 is The Crow.
Okay.
Now, The Crow is the only movie on this list that I haven't seen an additional time. Mm-hmm. You've probably heard of it because there was a remake of it this year.
Oh, okay.
I am not talking about the 2024 remake. I did not like the 2024 remake. That's just me personally. But The Crow 1994. Mm-hmm. First of all, it has a super interesting story to go along with it. It is the Crow, the quintessential character, is played by Brandon Lee, who is Bruce Lee's nephew, son. And just like his father, on the set of The Crow, Brandon Lee's life was untimely gone. He died. That was his last movie, his first major film. He died on set. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, The Crow fittingly is about an artist who is untimely killed, and he and his wife are untimely killed by some very evil people, and he returns from his grave a year after, and he's like an immortal vigilante.
My God.
The best way I can describe it tonally, because it is super... There's some other reviews I might pull up for it later that I really like when we talk about movie reviews. Mm-hmm. Maybe later, we'll see. And the best way I can describe it, it's like if Tim Burton directed a 90-minute Linkin Park music video.
That's really funny.
It is so goth and broody and like it spins around to campy and almost funny at some points.
Okay.
But it understands what it's doing and it does it so well. That the rest of the movie doesn't necessarily need to be all that good.
Okay.
And it is like there's some deeply flawed parts, but I think it's a good watch.
As long I feel like good movies are just when they know what they're doing. As long as they're confident in what they're doing, it's gonna be like, as long as you have a clear vision. Because when you don't have a clear vision, it just becomes this scattered. Like that's why we're able to do this podcast. Because it's like we have a clear vision of just how scattered it's going to be. And that's why it's a good type of scattered. Probably not, actually. I'm going to listen back to this while I'm editing. I'm not going to listen back to it ever. That's fair. I'm going to have to, like, listen to it and make sure that I have to, like, go and edit. I feel like I'm going to get a string of texts from you about this. I don't know. Probably. I'll just be like, remember when we said this in the podcast? And you're going to be like, no. No.
Anyway, and then the last film is The Grand Budapest Hotel.
Okay.
And I put this film on this list because it's my personal favorite, or not my personal favorite, but definitely the best film from Wes Anderson, and I love most of his work that I've watched. Wes Anderson is a super stylistically interesting director. He's one of those directors where they have, like, just like the Coen brothers, he has a style, and it's like it's very precise, and it's very, like, detectable. And The Grand Budapest definitely captures that super well. If you've ever watched the Fantastic Mr. Fox film, and you've wondered why it's so tonally interesting, that's because that's Wes Anderson's style.
Okay.
And The Grand Budapest Hotel, it's sort of this, it's a very heartwarming story it's basically about two friends just going on an adventure together. It's super heartwarming, it's really funny, it's really interesting, and it's also a beautifully shot film. So yeah, that's one of my, like, 4 movies. If you go watch all of them, that's sort of my taste in film. Yeah, that's my section for favorite movies. I'd love to hear what you want to say now that you've had time to think.
So I'm gonna take a.
We can also come back to favorite movies later if you want to think more.
A harsh left turn with my favorite movies. I feel like I have them written down somewhere. I never remember what they are. I know what, like, my top 2 are. So many people are liking my story. Oh my gosh, I feel so cool. Sorry, I posted it.
We're celebrities.
No, my favorite movie is, like, it usually goes between 2, and it's Ready Player One, the movie based off of the book.
Oh, I have opinions.
Okay.
And?
Or Wreck-It Ralph.
I don't have opinions on Wreck-It Ralph.
I like the story in Wreck-It Ralph.
That's fair. It actually is kind of an interesting character study.
I've watched so many, like, YouTube, like,
analyses of Wreck-It Ralph.
Literally, of all the characters, it's, like, the best, like, plot twist villain.
Yeah.
Because they build it up so well. But I'm also just, like, a big fan of, like, the, like, late 2000s style movies.
Yeah.
Like 500 Days of Summer, like Juno, that type of thing. Because I like how it feels like a home video almost.
Yeah, they're very like crunchy.
They're very crunchy, and I like how the characters are portrayed, and I like how everything's done. And it's just, it feels... I forget, I also watched, like, Perks of Being a Wallflower. That was good.
Yeah.
But I like the way that it's all so, like, all the cuts are so, like, kind of dramatic almost, and it makes you feel like you're watching this story in, like, rapid succession.
They're very, like, immersive and human, and in that way they're very flawed.
Yeah.
Like, because they like, that's the whole thing of 500 Days of Summer. I haven't watched it, but from everything I've heard about it, it sort of subverts traditional rom-coms by having, like, a super flawed main character.
Yeah, and they talk about it, and I love the way that they don't do it in, like, chronological order.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you're here, and then you're seeing something from, like, literally months later, where it's like, it's the contrast between each of the things, but it's the thing that the filmmaker takes and the writers take, and they go, this needs to be contrasted like this, and this needs to play here because it provides context for this, which is here. But it's all this, like, random stuff that's just kind of ramping up. I don't know, I just like the way that they're made, and I like the way that you feel when you watch them. That's
fair, yeah. I want to hear your take on Ready Player One, though.
Okay, I think I like it because of the story. I also really love the book.
Okay.
I've been rereading the book like over this past week, and I don't know. Objectively, it's not a good movie.
Yes.
But I personally really, really enjoy it. Just because I feel like it's taking all this stuff, it embraces the fact that it's, like, a pop culture film.
Yeah.
Some movies that are, like, entirely based in pop culture do it the completely wrong way.
Yeah.
But this one's, like, it is pop culture because that's what the book was. And that's, like, it's basically a love letter to, like, all of the 80s and early 2000s culture and stuff.
I agree with you. I just think the movie did it so much worse than the book.
That's fair. Because they had to change a whole bunch of it.
Yeah, that was my... So I read the book. I absolutely loved the book.
See, we are similar.
I just despised the film afterwards.
That's fair.
Because I didn't like how much it diverged from the book.
I saw the movie first.
Yeah, I loved the book and I didn't like the movie because, to me, the movie wasn't true to the culture it was portraying.
That's fair. And obviously, because you have to kind of narrow down for a movie, but it's like you can't really have someone, like, sitting there playing Joust.
Yeah.
And that's all the movie
playing
is.
Joust with an archlich.
Yeah.
Or, like, you can't, like, as much as I understand, like, my ultimate qualm with the movie is the extra life coin.
Okay.
And how it's just flipped to him.
Oh, yeah.
By like Ogden Morrow's secret character.
Because that feels like, oh, he could have given it to anyone.
Yeah, and then like that, but like I do love in the book how it's like, oh, he's lost and he's like, let's just like try a last thing. And because I've played video games before where I've done that. I've just tried a random thing and it's not what I'm looking for, but it just so happens to be like a weird secret Easter egg.
Yeah.
And he like full clears the game of Pac-Man and he gets the extra life coin that just so happens to later on and like even the book's objectively not the best thing. It's very
sexist
and it's also super junk food literature.
Yeah, it's really but I love how captivating it is.
Yeah, and
I feel like the movie captures how captivating it is.
Yeah, that's fair.
Me personally,
I don't like how I feel like the movie just stripped what the book did. Like it stripped a lot of the book.
It stripped the point of the book.
But the book's also really long.
Yeah.
And there's an entire chapter, and I think you know where he just talks way too much about his personal life.
Yep.
And you know the one I'm talking about.
Yeah,
and I'm not going to explain exactly what it's about here.
Yeah.
And if you're really interested, you can go read it.
Yeah.
It's like right at the end. It's like second out of 3 acts.
Yeah. But it's just...
I also didn't like what they did with the third act. I liked the third act in the book a lot better.
Yeah, that's fair. I feel like it's a lot just... They had... Movie adaptations are never good, but like...
Unless it's The Lord of the Rings.
That's... Okay. I don't think I could ever sit through...
I have not read the Lord of the Rings books. I know I'm a fake nerd, but I love the Lord of the Rings films.
I think I've read the Lord of the Rings books and then never watched the movies.
The movies are only like 3 or 4 hours long.
See, I just can't sit through 3 or 4 hours.
The book spends 100 pages in the Shire.
See, I think my dad read it to me.
Ah, there it is.
Or he tried to read it to me, so maybe I've only read like half of it.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's. Do you have more to say about your favorite movies?
Not really. That's kind of me touching on like the really bad movies that I like. Actually, no. Let's talk about Wreck-It Ralph. I really love Wreck-It Ralph. Because of the way that the characters are made. The second Wreck-It Ralph movie is not as well made because the story isn't as strong because they tried to capture what they had in the first one, where it's like talking about how you need friends and you need or you need to accept yourself, but like then they like fix Wreck-It Ralph's insecurities and he's like, I'm bad but I'm good and blah 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 blah. But then they go into this next thing where he gets super insecure about his, like, friendships. And it's just like, oh, my God. You're just trying to, like, cookie cutter what you're trying to do. Which is what they did with, like, Inside Out 2.
I haven't seen Inside Out 2, but yeah, that's what I heard.
Yeah, because it's literally, they're hitting all the same plot points, which, like, it's the thing. It worked in the first one, but you cannot do it a second time, because otherwise people are just like, oh, you're trying to replicate what you did. But I like the original Wreck-It Ralph, because I think all the characters are very well fleshed out, and I think that all the A plots and B plots are...
That's fair. I do remember being very scared of the King Candy bug form.
Oh, yeah, he's terrifying. I think I had nightmares about him when I was little.
I think that actually the most scared I was of him was when his eyes went all weird when he was flying into the volcano. Yeah. That was also such a horrifying death.
He just gets burned alive. And it's like...
Like, it's a really lighthearted movie until, like, the last act when he, like, tries to delete Vanellope. And then, because his death is, like... Half of him's spoiler alert for Wreck-It Ralph. Skip to whatever time card Claire puts in the video.
I'm not putting a time card in the video. Just skip ahead until you
until you stop here is talking about Wreck-It Ralph. It's such a horrifying death, even conceptually, because if you put himself in your shoes, there is 2 parts of you. One of them is screaming for you to fly into an active volcano, which you know will kill you, and the other part is fighting to get you out.
Yeah.
That is such a conceptually... I think that's one of the most terrifying Disney villain deaths.
And they never needed to add that.
Yeah, and he screams for his life, like, half the time.
It's really fun.
Like, there's, like, some... Like, when people talk about, like, horrifying Disney death, like, villain deaths, they think of, like, Clayton.
Okay.
Or, like, Gaston.
Right. Gaston.
But we need to talk more about King Candy's death.
Because it's very, like, it was a mental thing.
Yeah.
Like,
you can tell how much fear and anguish there was. Yeah. Like, at least Clayton, he hung himself on a vine, but he did it quickly. Same with, like, Gaston just fell into the void.
He just fell into the void.
Yeah.
You never really knew what happened to him. Like, he could have fell on sharp rocks and been punctured.
Yeah.
But, like, no, it's like, yeah, you watch King Candy literally, like, fly into molten cola, and it's like...
Yeah. and he dies, and he was scared when he died.
Yeah.
He was scared and in pain. And you know what? He deserved it.
But see, it's just that thing. They have such well fleshed out characters that you go, wow, he deserved it.
Yeah, he had that coming.
Where it's like some other movies don't flesh out their characters, and you're like, he died because he was evil. But no, you're like, King Candy deserved to die because he's been doing this. He used to be Turbo, who did this before. They have this whole coin thing. You know what going Turbo means. You know what all this background. You know all the lore. It's great. Yeah. Anyway,
that was the other thing about Ready Player One that I didn't like. They made the villain way less impactful.
Oh, that's true. Like Sorrento is just like he's just this mean guy.
He just does so much more evil stuff in the movies.
Yeah.
Like even like I forget, does he actually blow up the house in the movie?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, because like I know he does in the movie, but in the book, like it's beyond that. He tells him he's gonna blow up the house, and then he tells him, "I'm also gonna make it look like a meth lab blew up. Like no one's gonna believe this was anything but another poor person dying because they were dumb."
Yeah, that's true, and they have like so much more information on everyone.
Yeah.
And spoiler, this is not as bad. Okay, maybe we should spoiler alert like everything.
Spoiler alert, let's go back to the start of the episode and pretend I said spoiler alert there.
I'll just put it in there.
Spoiler alert. Okay, go.
No, because they kill Daito.
Yeah.
Like they.
It's dark. That's a grim death.
They frame it that he committed suicide. And they pushed him out of his window. And it's like, that's not something that they did in the movie. They were all alive at the end.
Yeah.
So I feel like the book really paints him as more of a villain.
Yeah.
But if you don't know the context of the books, it's a pretty good movie.
Yeah. Anyway, speaking of bad movies, we're gonna move on to bad/weird films that we like to talk about.
Oh my gosh, I have gotten so into like Netflix movies recently. Like it's my favorite thing to do is just find the worst looking Netflix movie. Like, what was the last one I watched? I watched this one. It was about like kids throwing a party. And it was just so stupid. I also watched, the one that I go back to quite a bit there's two. It's called Look Both Ways, and then the one called You Are So Not Invited to My Bat Mitzvah. Look Both Ways is like Betty from Riverdale. that actress, she's like pregnant or she's not pregnant, and it tells both those stories, which I actually kind of like because it's like it's two plots, but it's still the same character, and it's two things that could have happened.
I thought you were gonna say it was a love story about a crossing guard.
Oh gosh, I wish. No, and then the worst one, oh my god, You're So Not Invited to My Bat Mitzvah is so bad because it's just like this fight between two girls and then like about a boy.
Yeah.
And then this one girl is supposed to make like a video, and then the video's just like her shitting on her best friend, and then she plays it at her friend's bat mitzvah, and then her friend is shunned by the entire school, and then it's just this whole thing, but it's so fun to watch. Anyway, and then I watched this other one yesterday that was not even yesterday.
We might have to do like some... I keep thinking of more ideas for this. We might have to do like some Mystery Science Theater level stuff where we just watch movies and commentate.
I think we should, honestly.
Speaking of which, stay tuned. Later on, Claire's gonna have a live reation to the Minecraft movie trailer.
We are. That's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
No, but like Netflix movies are so bad. It's kind of like just good, like in the way of like it's fun to watch them be bad.
Yeah. Same with like my pick for bad movies. Early 2000s. Rom-coms that focus on comedy.
Yes.
So there are two films I'm thinking of right now, and both of them star Mila Kunis. I'm thinking of Forgetting Sarah Marshall and Friends with Benefits.
Oh my god.
And the other thing about these movies, all of the casts are so wildly talented. Mm-hmm. Like Forgetting Sarah Marshall is Jason Segel, Mila Kunis. God, what's her name? She plays Eleanor in The Good Place.
Oh no,
Kristen Bell.
Yeah.
Jinx. The ceiling's white.
What?
I'm Jinx. You have to say my name.
Okay, Edward.
Okay. And then Russell Crowe. No, not Russell Crowe. Russell Brand, who voices Dr. Nefario. And then like Friends with Benefits is a young Justin Timberlake and Mila Kunis.
Right.
And they're always these love stories about, like, super flawed, dumb characters.
Right.
Just being dumb and flawed, but they still find true love somehow.
So they're just, like, basically trying to be
They're
funny.
stupid, and they're all the same, and they all go around in circles, and they're all mostly comedies. Oh, another one's The Proposal.
I've never seen that. I wanted to watch that because
with Ryan Reynolds and...
Because they mentioned it in Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah, that one's really interesting, because it actually doesn't become about the romance between the two characters. Like, they do so much show don't tell that they barely even show.
Oh.
And it's almost like they like throw in the romance part right at the end of the film.
And they're like, actually, this was a romance.
They've actually, like, there's like a couple scenes where, like, I was like, oh, I could see how this is a rom-com. But most of it's like, there is one male stripper in this small Alaskan town, and he just happens to be the family's housekeeper.
What?
That's a genuine bit they do in the movie.
Oh my god.
And then he's a really bad male stripper as part of the joke.
So many movies I need to watch. Like, genuinely.
Yeah.
Like, listening to you talk about movies, like, even good movies, bad movies, I realized there are so many movies that I haven't seen that I should watch, but I just never get around to it.
Also, anything from Adam Sandler's catalog.
Okay.
At all, at least
who's in You're So Not Invited to My Butt?
Adam Sandler?
And his, like, entire family.
That's awesome.
Both his daughters, like, star in it. And his wife is in it, not as his wife. You know who his wife is? Idina Menzel.
I mean, Adam Sandler is very proud of his Jewish heritage.
Yeah. I think he wrote it, too. So it's like, it makes sense. And it is, like, one of the better ones because it's well written. It's just, the plot is so stupid.
Well, but, like, if you go to, like, bad movies again, so most of Adam Sandler's stuff when he was younger sort of falls into those comedic with a romantic subplot.
Right.
Think, like, Happy Gilmore.
Yeah.
Billy Madison's one that's really funny.
Okay.
It's sort of like, it was about as big as Happy Gilmore at the time, and has since fallen off a bit more. But it's about this kid who's like the heir to a really big hotel business, but his dad's like, my child's stupid, so I'm gonna make him do all of elementary, junior high, and high school in 1 year to earn his fortune.
Okay.
So yeah, he does 1 grade a month, and that's the plot of the film.
Oh.
Yep.
Fun. That's weird.
And then, like, even like 50 First Dates is celebrated because it's a pretty interesting movie, and it's objectively as a rom-com, it's pretty good.
Right.
But it's still very stupid and flawed.
Okay.
Like, and I think that needs to be acknowledged because it's still an Adam Sandler movie.
Yeah.
And it's like, admittedly, it's one of his more heartfelt ones, but like, he still makes a walrus throw up in someone's face as a joke.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
And going older Adam Sandler, I think this might just be about Adam. I love Adam Sandler. So much. He's making Happy Gilmore too, and I'm so excited because he said it's going to be bad.
Okay. Well, if you say it's going to... That's the other thing. Going in with the expectation, at least you have a clear vision.
Because what Adam Sandler... Well, good. Not explicitly, but what Adam Sandler said is he was in a serious drama called Uncut Gems. It was like a thriller. It got pretty good reviews. He said if it wasn't nominated for an Oscar, he was going to make the worst movie ever. And then, like, 2 or 3 years later, he announced that he was starting to make Happy Gilmore 2.
Lovely.
Anyway, on that topic, the Grown Ups films.
I've never seen those.
I love Grown Ups 1 and 2.
Okay.
Because those films, I have no doubt in my mind that the production for them was, I'm going to contact my friends who are also comedians, we're going to write a loose plot, and then screw around.
Improv.
Because what is it? The first movie, it's basically... Like, it's essentially, like, there's, like, 5 quote-unquote grown-ups, but it's mainly just an ensemble, like, comedy of him, who are the 5? Adam Sandler, oh god, what did he do?
We need to look it up.
Kevin James,
okay.
David Spade, Eddie Murphy, I think, not Eddie Murphy, Chris Rock, and Rob Schneider.
Yeah.
And they just do some stuff. They really just do stuff. They go to a water park at one point and they all pee in the pool.
So really, yeah, I feel like they just had a loose plot.
They were like, okay, so did you want to know the plot of the actual film?
Yeah, go for it.
The actual plot of the film is, so a long time ago there was a junior high basketball team.
Right.
And these 5 guys were they were like the lineup for the team, and it was the one time this team ever won for this coach. And this coach was a big impact for all their lives. And then when the coach dies, They all go to his funeral, and then they all go out to a lake house that they stayed at when they were playing basketball, and they hang out there to scatter his ashes.
Okay, that's... Yeah.
And you want to know the emotional crux of the second film?
What?
Adam Sandler's throwing an 80s-themed party for the last day of school.
Their last day of school?
No, the last day of his children's school.
Okay.
At one point, one of the guys gets hit by an inflatable boat. They're so dumb and bad, and I love it. And once again, they also all have fantastic, very well, known actors playing all of their characters.
I feel like when you just get really well-known actors to just screw around, it's so much...
It's always bad, but it's always fun.
It's so fun, because it's fun to watch these people who are supposed to be these well-respected, highly trained actors to just do random shit, and it's so fun. All right, I'm gonna pull up the Minecraft.
I want to quickly talk about one other type of bad movie I love.
Go.
The first two High School Musical films,
yes,
are objectively terrible.
They were filmed in a month,
and they're the only Disney Channel movies that I watch.
Okay,
but I love them with all my heart. Except both of them have one kind of racist song.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, one of them's really racist. One of them's only kind of racist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, which one from the first movie?
Bop to the Top's a little bit. Is
it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Or even not racist, but it's just kind of icky.
Yeah, that's fair. I feel like every time Ryan and Sharpay sing and they're acting I thought they were dating. The first time I watched it, I was like...
I love Ryan.
Ryan's
so the best character.
He's the only one with any sort of character change.
Yeah. He's the only one with any arc that doesn't repeat itself every film.
That's true. Because Troy has the same issues.
Yeah. Vanessa Hudgens, what's her name? Gabriella has the same issues. Sharpay has the same issues for the first two films, and then becomes a nothing character in the third film.
Yeah, because she's oh, maybe I was just mean for no reason.
Chad only has an issue in the third and first film.
Yep.
Does he even have an issue in the third film, or is he just there for the boys are back, or whatever it's called?
I feel I don't even know.
And then that's all of the characters. And then there's Zeke, who likes to bake.
Aw, he's so cool.
I love him. He likes to bake.
He likes to bake. That's his one personality.
Someday he wants to make the perfect creme brulee.
I love Stick to the Status Quo because we get to learn about all these characters who we never hear from again. Oh, it's so fun. I feel like we could have delved into
All right, time for the live. I'm going to be silent. I don't know how much of the trailer you're going to hear, but Claire's going to talk about what they think.
Where should I put it?
Do you want me to set it? Do you want me to set it up right, lean against the wall back here?
Okay, but then I can't see it.
Okay, well just hold it.
I'll just hold it.
We can cut out the audio later.
We don't need to cut out the audio. Oh, I need to actually turn on the audio.
Okay, it's not really picking up. Good.
Why are they live action? What is... I'm confused. No! Do they swear in it? Oh,
no,
okay.
They said what the hell.
Oh, sorry. Why?
Crafting table.
Oh my god, that was so loud. What? Jack Black?
It's Minecraft Steve! It's Minecraft Steve! Okay. Guys, it's Minecraft Steve.
So speaking of bad movies...
So this actually... Your opinions on this, Claire, are actually going to take us right from bad movies into the problems with recent movies. And you're just going to... I think you're just going to talk about how you think about the Minecraft movie, and we're going to figure out how to segue from that.
Yeah, okay, because... Oh my god. No, they literally just took a bunch of random people. What even is that, though? And you know that they spent so much money on, CGI.
And it looks so bad.
It does. I don't like that... I feel like they could have just done
I think they should have just done what Minecraft Story Mode did.
I love Minecraft Story Mode.
Yeah.
No, literally, they either need to play into the fact that it's a block game.
Yeah.
Or they need to, play into the fact that it's only going to be in live action.
Yeah.
Because the fact that it's mixing it...
Also, Jack Black is Steve, man.
Why?
Why? It's because it's Jack Black, but why?
But it's like they just went, I am Steve. Okay, great.
Thanks. It's Minecraft Steve.
God, you're peeking the mic.
I'm intentionally peeking the mic.
Good. Everyone's gonna hate that. Anyway, no, but it's like, are they really running out of ideas that badly that they need to, like, make...
Like, I feel like the Minecraft movie was always tossed around as a joke, right?
It was. No one was ever supposed to make that movie.
I also saw a post online which was really funny, which was Jason Momoa cosplaying as Dora?
No, I saw that. I'm like, why is Dora in this movie?
Also, why is his hair blonde? What they put a blonde wig on him. He had long hair.
I'm sure there's like character reasons. Like, but what's this story gonna be? Is this like a Jumanji situation?
I think so, and I think they're defending the world from piglins. Anyway, we'll keep you guys updated on more Minecraft movie news. Let's move on to the issues with recent movies in general.
Yeah, it's just, I feel like everything has such a large budget now.
Yeah.
And it doesn't need to.
Yeah.
Because everything has to be a blockbuster, apparently.
And, like, it's just, like, I feel like every good movie now doesn't come from a big studio.
Yeah. And it's, like, I don't know. Because it's the whole thing of, I want to go into film. I want to do all this stuff. But I just can't. It's not a stable industry anymore. It was never a stable industry. But it's not, like, something that's creating something new and original and fun. It's now something that's, like, oh, yeah, we're just going to spend, like, $4 billion, get all these people in here, and then make something kind of okay.
And, like, that's how you wind up with movies like, I haven't seen the new Deadpool and Wolverine. I heard it was really funny, but I also heard a lot of bad things about it critically.
I actually didn't hate it. I feel like the story, there's never really any story with Deadpool movies, though. I feel like...
I would disagree with you on that. I think the first movie especially, but even the second movie were pretty heart-wrenching at times.
That's true. But, like, I mean, like, the plots are all, like...
The plot's usually de-emphasized.
But that's the point of the movies. So, like, that's the sort of thing that I'm looking at. But, I don't know. It really was what it was, and it was basically them just...
Fighting?
And
arguing and bickering?
It was them trying to basically... find a reason to put Deadpool and Wolverine into the MCU, which is why a lot of people don't like it, because they're like, oh, this was put here specifically just to interlink everything.
Yeah.
Which is, like, it's fair. I personally really enjoyed it, just because, like, I don't know, it was fun. It made me laugh. It has a lot of things that are poking fun at the Marvel Universe, which is, like, good. And it's because Ryan Reynolds played a part in, like, writing it, which...
But, like, as much as I've I've heard good things, the thing I heard most about it critically, like, from, like, people critiquing it, was that it was very corporate, which I think is becoming a thing. Like, movies are... Because, like, the thing is, no matter how terrible the Minecraft movie looks, it's going to make so much money.
Mm-hmm. Because people are going to go see it.
And it's going to regurgitate the same thing. One of the characters is going to, leave, and it's going to be sad, and then it's going to come back, and it's going to be the real Minecraft with the friends we crafted along the way.
But that's sort of the problem, because that's the only story we can tell, but we're just putting it in different settings.
Like, everything I've heard about Inside Out 2 is it's Inside Out 1, but a little bit different. It's like Inside Out 1.5.
No, literally it is, because they hit all the same plot points. They hit all the same, like, story parts. Joy learns basically the exact same lesson as she did in the first one.
Yeah.
And it's like, why didn't you just take what you knew and just,
and, like,
it's like do that?
And it's like movies now are either sequels or adaptations for the most part.
Yeah.
And every sequel is telling the same story as the original for the most part, and every adaptation is losing what made the original interesting. Mm-hmm. Which is like how I haven't seen it. How you wind up with things like the Borderlands movie.
Okay.
Where, from what I heard, they got a bunch of huge name actors to play in it, and the only actor who even seemed like he wanted to be there was weirdly Kevin Hart.
Oh, I feel like the other thing is we need to introduce new actors into the sphere, because getting all these big names to play literally everyone, it's just it's getting boring.
Like, who was the last actor would you say become a big name? Because I would say it was probably Jenna Ortega. Yeah. And that was for Wednesday, which was 2 years ago.
Yeah, but even then, it's like...
But like, since Wednesday, she's been getting more jobs, and she's becoming more and more of a household name. Mm-hmm. But even then, she's a pretty she's mainly a household name in horror.
Mm-hmm. Which is really funny, because you know where I know her from?
Where?
The Netflix Richie Rich TV series.
So anyway, long story short, I don't know. I feel like movies and a lot of media can go in these circles and stuff, but I feel like it's becoming less of a circle and more of a line. And if we talk about music, I'll talk about the same thing.
Yeah.
It's all becoming more about money than expression, at least the mainstream stuff.
That's really why I like watching John Krasinski's films.
Yeah.
Because
I did like Ifs. I watched Ifs.
I watched that too. Yeah, because he has a story that he wants to tell, and it's original. And
he has money, which means he's not worried about making more.
Mm-hmm. So it's this thing, because, like, of course he can go to all these corporations, but it's not a thing where he's going, how do I make money?
Because he also made a Quiet Place, right?
Yep.
Yeah, like, he can just do whatever he wants and tell the stories he wants to tell.
Which is, like, he's not looking for it to, like, that's the thing. It's not being corporate. It's not, he's not going to a room and going, how can we make the most money?
Yeah,
how do I put all these famous people in movies?
Because if he wanted to make money, what he would make is Office, the movie. Jim Goes to France.
Yeah, and he could, because he is Jim.
And he could make so much money off of that.
Mm-hmm.
And he could just go, like, he could side-eye the camera for 90 minutes and people would still pay to watch it.
Yeah, but no, it's really nice because he fully takes his own expression and then he puts it into his movies.
And, like, admittedly, in that corporate atmosphere, there are still some gems. Like, an actor, or not an actor, a director who I really like recently has been James Gunn. Because he does a lot of superhero movies now, but he's also done the last couple good superhero movies.
Okay.
Like, I think he did, like, I know he did Guardians. All 3 Guardians of the Galaxy movies.
Guardians are
I
so
think
good.
that is the one Marvel property that hasn't been ruined for me yet is Guardians.
And they stopped when
because James Gunn left to go work DC.
Yeah.
And I think when he was working, I think he also did one of the Suicide Squads. He might have done the bad Suicide Squad, but I thought he did the good Suicide Squad.
Okay.
But it's the same with, like, actually, I suppose the Avengers as a property haven't been ruined for me yet, but there's going to be a new one. Robert Downey Jr. is going to play Doctor Doom.
And it's like they killed him.
Yeah.
Why?
Is it going to be is the entirety it's an alternate timeline version?
Yeah. Because that's why they, that in Deadpool Wolverine, spoilers, again, we told you this, but Chris Evans, they reintroduce him, and they make this whole joke, it's like, oh, it's Captain America. It's not. It's him from Fantastic Four.
Oh my god.
So he's probably I think he's coming back to play his Fantastic Four character.
Well, that was part of that. It was even more than the Human Torch.
Yeah, I don't know.
It was even more like that. You said it was like about getting Deadpool and Wolverine into the MCU. It was more about that. More than that. It was about getting Deadpool and the X-Men as a whole.
Yeah.
And that, I don't know. I feel like Marvel's never should have gone down the multiverse route in the first place. Like, people loved No Way Home, but they loved it for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't like it on its merits as a film. They liked it because all 3 Spider-Mans were in the same room.
Yeah, and I feel like they should have ended it there. But it's like, oh my god.
I think they should have kept multiverse animation, honestly. Yeah. Because I'm animate, like, the Spider-Verse films have, like, I'm still excited for the next one. They were no misses. No misses.
And they're not part of the MCU. Yeah. Like, that's the other thing. The MCU now is just going, how do we make a lot of money? Yeah. Like, and that's why they have Robert Downey Jr. coming back. It's because they're like, oh, people want to see Robert Downey Jr. do all this stuff. And it's like, oh my god, just stop doing all this stuff and end it while you still can. I know you want to keep milking the cow for all it's worth, but there are all these stories that you could just make as, like, solo stories. Like, you don't need to, like, this whole Agatha
Harkness?
Yeah, like, because they have her TV show.
Yeah, and then, like,
we know that somewhere down the line they're gonna converge all. And
because they've been working on. There's a thing even from like Marvel Comics that's essentially the evil Avengers, and they've been slowly assembling it.
Great.
Because, like, I'm not sure, like, no, it wasn't Agatha, but somebody was, like, going around and meeting with a bunch of, like, the bad guys from all the different Marvel shows.
Okay.
So, like, for example, the bad guy from Captain America and Winter Soldier, he is becoming U.S. Agent, who is an actual Marvel character. And they may well abandon the idea, because they've been...
But they're not going to.
No, because Marvel's been abandoning a lot of ideas recently. Because Jonathan Majors, who played Kang, had abuse allegations levied against him. So originally they were building to, like, it wasn't going to be, whatever, Avengers Age of Doom. It was going to be Secret Invasion, which is it's actually a big, super massive plot from the comics about Kang invading.
But now they can't.
Because Jonathan Majors sucks as a person.
Yeah.
So they can't make that Kang subplot anymore.
Right.
which means that inevitably Age of Doom is going to be terrible.
And, like, that's just the thing. It's like, that's all they're doing, because... But we all know that everything was just, like... Everything to do with Avengers nowadays is, like, a big cash grab. Because they're like, oh, we're taking all your favorite characters and we're putting them in the same movie. And it's like, I feel like there's a line in the new Deadpool and Wolverine movie where it's like, they're gonna make you do this until you're 90. And it's like, yep, they really are. Like...
And, like, I don't know, one of the critiques I did hear that was sort of valid for it is, like, at the end of the day, a lot of the stuff that Deadpool and Wolverine pokes fun at, like, it's part of what's doing that.
Yeah.
Like, it is part of the problem in some ways. I don't know. It's, like, it's such a weird topic, because there are still good movies being made, is the thing.
Like, I feel like it's just the issue of all these big corporate mass movie producers.
And they're the ones that get promoted.
They're the ones that get promoted, but they could be putting their money into so much more creative, like, ideas, more, like, less of just the same thing happening over and over again, like Big Bad.
Yeah. Like, do you know what movies are good? Admittedly, they're an adaptation, but they're, like, another good book to movie adaptation, sort of like Lord of the Rings. The Dune movies are fantastic, and they would be so much better if I also hadn't read Dune.
Right.
Because there were some details that got changed and missed that I didn't like, but even objectively, just as movies, the 2 Dune movies are really good. And, like, they're, like, that's evidence that there are still good movies being released, but they're getting lost in more and more garbage.
And I feel like we could try and do better versions, like, because we have all this money going into all these other movies. If we didn't do that, we could just funnel it into, what is going on? Something's happening in the microphones that I can hear. Anyway, like, but if we weren't putting all this stuff into these big Marvel movies, we could be putting them into something like another book adaptation that would just
do something right,
portrayed a lot better, you know.
But, like, I'm gonna try to make a point, though, if I can make it well. I might not be able to make it well. Like, at the end of the day, like, it's also gonna be a question of what movies we remember, though. Because, like, I was thinking of, like, one of the worst movies, like, ever made by a lot of people, or considered by a lot of people, is Norm of the North.
Okay.
It's an animated movie. I only remember because I watched it for a birthday party. It's not good. But, like, other movies that came out that year was, like, I think Hail Caesar's been pretty well, enjoyed. The first Deadpool movie.
Right.
Like, Terrifier, which is a super celebrated horror film. Star Wars Rogue One, which is one of the last good Star Wars movies. Arrival, which is just a fantastic movie in general. Like, I think it's also gonna be a question of, like, because we are older, we come at it with a different perspective now. It might also just be a question of what we remember. Like, sure, maybe we won't remember, I don't know, Thor: Love and Thunder 8 years down the line, but we're probably still gonna remember Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
That's true.
I think that's about all we have to say about movies.
On that note...
How long did we do this for?
55 minutes.
We're getting good at this.
Like, the first one was, like, half an hour.
Yeah.
The second one was, like,
48.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, this one...
Pretty soon we're going to be doing 10-hour epics.
All these poor people who have to sit here and listen.
They don't have to. We're not keeping you here. If you're listening, thank you.
Yeah.
We're not holding you.
But, yeah, I think by the end of this we're going to get, like... pretty good. It's also good that we've been, like, continuously doing this.
Yeah. I feel more practiced.
Yeah. And now we have a good idea of what we're aiming for.
Yeah.
And,
like, we had way less prep for this episode than the last two.
It's just because you can talk about movies for a really long time.
Yeah, I am a dweeb. Thank you for noticing.
You're welcome.
Man, really... If there's an audience for our opinions, that's going to be crazy.
You know, personally, I like listening to people's opinions. I'm just going to pick an outro out of anywhere.
Yeah, okay.
But, you know, so if you say anything remotely interesting that'll end the episode, maybe it'll just end abruptly.
Well, folks, thanks for listening. That was another two guys. Follow us on Instagram.
Follow us on Instagram at just another two guys.
For more Minecraft movie updates.
Okay.